Hello and welcome to Elizabeth's Craft Room. Today's video was a special request by Jan Oliver, hello Jan, who wanted to have a reminder of how to use the Stampin' Up. So I thought I would show you how to do this one where we've got the parcels and the balloons inside the car. So we're going to actually make this card today. Okay, so the stamp set we're using is Road to Happiness, and as you can see there's lots of things you can have coming out of the car. You can have a surfboard, and you can have balloons and hearts, and you can have a bride and groom in the front. So, but all of these things actually need to line up with the top or the back, in the case of the tin cans there, of the car. So we're going to use the Stampin' Up to achieve that. So the layers that we're using for the card today are going to be not quite navy cardstock. This is an A4 sheet cut in half and then folded in half again. So this is a standard card size. And then the next layer that we're doing is in more mustard, and that's 13.5 by 9 inches. So I'll just put those to one side. And then the very vanilla layer is 12.5 by 8 inches. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is to set up our Stampin' Up, and we are going to, you're going to place your Stampin' Up. Now various people do this different ways. Some people prefer to do it this way round, but I always learn to do it with the sheets, the clear sheets that you can see here, right into the bottom. And the best way to do it is to push it down and across and make sure it's right into that corner. Now it doesn't matter whether you're using wood mount or clear mount. Sometimes you need to be able to see just where those stamps are going. And even with clear mount, you know, when it's something that really needs to be lined up properly, the Stampin' Up is great. So I've put a little ink on there, and I'm just going to stamp onto my sheet with it right in the corner, so we have an image there. And I'm going to be very careful not to touch that, because that's wet ink and it's going to rub off later on, but we don't want it rubbing off onto my fingers and then onto the project. And I'm going to do the balloons as well. The balloons we're going to be stamping in more mustard, so I just don't have to clean the stamp off in between. I'm just going to pop the balloons on there. So once again I'm using a different corner, but I've put that right into the corner of the sheet. Okay, so we're now going to stamp the car, and we're doing that in Riding Hood Red. And I'm going to stamp that in the bottom right hand corner. Let me just make sure you can see what I'm doing. So I'm stamping that in the bottom right hand corner. These are with our new ink pads, so we've got a lovely crisp image there with the riding hood. And so next we're going to put the presents in, the gifts in. And what you do is you line up your plastic sheet, your acrylic sheet there, onto the top of the card, and you can be exact and have it exactly where you want those presents to be. And then I'm going to go back in with the Stampin' Up, and that I've pushed that right up against that corner, so that I know that that is perfect if it's up against that corner. Re-ink my gifts, and then again right into that corner, and you can see that has lined up perfectly. So I'm now going to do the balloons, and I've actually lined those up with the block, as you can see, as you can perhaps see, is lined up like that. But I actually want my balloons to be coming out of the back. So I'm going to turn my piece of paper here, my piece of cardstock here, and actually have the balloons coming out of the back just where I want them. And then go back in with my Stampin' Up there. And we want more mustard ink. And stamp right down. And as you can see, the balloons are now coming right out of the back of the car. And if I bring that up close, you can see that. Now to put a bit of colour into this, I'm going to use my blender pen and actually just blend some of the ink in there. Take a little bit more of the mustard. And when you just pick up a tiny bit of ink from the ink pad, it goes a long way. We just have a little bit of blending in there. We'll also put a little bit of yellow onto some of the gifts, on mustard rather, onto some of the gifts. And then to clean it, you just scribble away. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to drag some of the blue from the gifts direct on there. And that is the easiest way to colour in. And while I've got just a little bit of blue left on there, I'll just put a little bit of blue on the windscreen. Colouring is not my strong suit, so if I can do it, everybody can do it. So we now want to have a greeting, and I'm going to use the happy birthday. This is from all my family. Just stamp that. And what I like about this one is it fits perfectly into the word window. So I'm just going to punch that out. And then I'm going to take a piece of Riding Hood red cardstock and punch with a modern label to make a little layer. These are going to be glued together with a little Tombow. Ooh, a bit too much Tombow. And on the back I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals to raise that up. Oops, that was a little bit too much Tombow. When it dries clear, but I'm just going to take it off there with a tissue. And that can pop up there. And then we're going to layer up, and I'm going to use some dimensionals for the first layer. Pop that on. And then some Tombow for the second. We are. So, especially for jam, but I hope that's reminded some of the rest of you how to use your Stamp-A-Majig, how easy it is, and it is a great tool. Thank you for coming to Elizabeth's Craft Room today, and I look forward to your visit again.